On this episode, we're going to be reviewing some interesting wrestling content for all of you. The first one is from Marvelous in Shinkiba that took recently place on February 2nd. We have some very interesting matches taking place as well. Then we move on with Stardom with much recent event prior before Supreme Fight in Kyoto on February 3rd. And then finally, they just entered their fallout. We're talking about NXT. This is right after Vengeance Day. And I know a lot of questions are being asked. The real question is, why Mello? Why did you betray Trick Williams? Well, hopefully we get the answers. And we also have other interesting matches that will be taking place as well. And then we move on with some news updates that tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, and of course, developments going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome, everybody, to the Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the promotions themselves, factions, wrestlers, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also do more news updates. If I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can put it on a separate video by itself. We also do the Unagi Sayaka Watch, real time news updates, and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, let's start with our very first review, and this is recently from the Yoshi promotion Marvelous. This one is in Shinkiba, first ring, one of a very popular venue for independent wrestling in Japan. This took place recently on the 2nd of February. Our first match, we have the girls of Evolution, Chi Chi and Zones. They take on our current tag champions, Magenta, Maria, and Riko Kawahara. Now, don't keep in mind, I'm a big fan of Magenta. You know that they are the home girls in this match because they are the ones who are representing Marvelous. They're facing outsiders like Evolution Girls, so that's one of the main reasons. But we do know that both Chi Chi and Zones are prominent wrestlers, but highly prominent is Chi Chi herself. We have seen what she can do. But however, Chi Chi took a hell of kicks, hitting a lot of kicks right in the head by Riko Kawahara. That kind of sorry about that. Anyway, so there was a lot of kicks she took, but wow, I have to say Chi Chi does have a fighting spirit, but Riko Kawahara really does her thing, and she picked up a huge win. Next up, we have Misa Kagura taking on Miyuki Takahase. No, Miyuki Takase. A pretty good match, not gonna lie. But I do see how Misa Kagura she went ahead and straight made a beeline to Miyuki in order to see if she can wear her down. But you cannot deny the experience from Miyuki Takase, who's been around the block longer than her. So it played out pretty well. But however, it was of course an amazing pinfall by Miyuki Takase to put away um, Miyuki Takase. How no, my bad. Put away way, Misa Kagura. My bad. My throat's a little messed up. Anyway, our next match is a men's match. This is the only one they have. They're like the reverse what we always see. We have Leo Azaki taking on Yuki Kanzaki. Don't know what promotion this guy comes from, but Leo, he's the only male wrestler in Marvelous, so basically you probably will see him more often. But it was a pretty good match nonetheless. I mean, Leo, he is like the not only the top star, but as I said, he is also the only male talent in the promotion, trained by the guy herself. That plays out pretty well. I was impressed by this match, but it was, of course, Leo who picked up a pretty good win when he pinned Kanazaki once and for all and gave him a win. Next up, we have AI Hosen teaming up with Izuki Aoki taking on Tomoko Wananaba and, of course, the former champ Miyu Momono. Now, this match was utterly insane because these girls are homegrown. Well, most of them are homegrown from half of them are homegrown from this promotion. So you probably can guess there was going to be a lot of great moments in this match. I was like, I mean, Aya Housen, who is barely new. Well, she was a rookie, but she picked up some good wins. She would have been the weakest link in this team. But however, that match did not go exactly according to plan on both sides because unfortunately it ended in a time limit draw after 20 minutes. Nonetheless, I think this match was pretty good because AI Hosen, who is determined to succeed, is pretty well. I know Miyu Momono is determined to make it back on top after losing the AAW title to Mayumi Ozaki. So basically, there's that. Now, our main event, we have a six-woman tag match. Team number one, we have Mai Yukihi teaming up with Gigi Ray and Promise Braxton. They take on Unagi Sayaka, coming out with her three belts. Um, Chikayo Nagashima, and of course, the ace of Marvelous, Takumi Iroha. I know. So I thought this match was pretty good because we know the experience of Mayuhiki, what she can do, but we have two wrestlers who are outsiders, from outside of Japan, foreigners. I think this was a pretty good, impressive match. But what I did like is how Unagi was able to not only coexist with Nagashima because we know they had teamed up before, but she has teaming up with Takumi Iroha. You probably would think that Unagi would have been the one to pin or Iroha, but nope, that wasn't the case. Nagashima, who was a veteran in the game, would have held on to her own as long as possible until someone from her team would have helped her out. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. She was rolled up by Gigi Ray to pick up the win. Show went pretty well, so yes. I liked it. It was fun. I enjoyed it. So I think that's pretty much it with Marvelous. Let's move on with Stardom. Okay, Stardom in Kyoto. Now, this took place a day before the Supreme Fight event. Now, some of you may say, why I do it at all. Well, I can tell you, I can say this, and I've always say it. Why not? So, let's get started. Our first match, we have a three-way match. We have the rookie Sayaka Kurara versus Lady C versus our current high-speed champion, May Sita. So you probably would think, okay, um, Kurara X Factor is the weakest link because of the least experience that she has with the other two. It would, yes, that played out pretty well. But I think, in my opinion, because we have always seen the rookies are normally the ones that get the pinfall from their matches. Who's going to be the lucky one to pick up the win? Will it be the current high speed champion or the human tower, Lady C? That is the one thing that was going to my mind on this one. But nonetheless, it was a pretty good match. But it took only a drop kick by Meisira to put away Kurara to pick up the win. Next up, we have tag team action. The ladies from Stars, Saya Ida and Azuki, they take on Godzai Saki Kashima and Ami Suri. Uh, very interesting match. Normally, we probably would have thought Hana would be in this match since she has like a bit of a rivalry with Ami Suri. but looks like it's not. But nonetheless, this match was pretty good. But it was Azuki with the Hazuki straw onto Kashima to pick up the win. Now, keep in mind, Kashima is also a high speedster. Azuki has played a high speed, has won high speed title before. They're both former high speed champions, so they have that high speed mentality that could work in their favor. But unfortunately, you would think that Kashima would have walked away with the win, but nope, it was Azuki. Next up, we continue with, of course, more with God's Eye and Stars on this match. We have 6-woman tag match. For God's Eye, we have Rana Yagami, Mirai, and Suri. They take on Stars consistent of Izuki, Hanan, and Mayu Iwatani. So that was part of the good match. However, you probably would think, okay, there will be a moment where we see the rookies be in the last point. I mean, Yuzuki and Rana fighting off each other till the end, but no, Yuzuki decided to make a beeline to Mirai. You probably would think, is that a bold move out of her part? Me, I would say it's not a smart move, but I think I know what she's trying to do. Like, she's trying to prove herself that she can be successful by making the top. This is what led to that rivalry between her and Hanako. Hanako have always said that, she had more experience than Yuzuki, but however, Yuzuki has always proven why she is who she is, why she's determined to push forward to success and stardom. But however, I think that might have cost her because it was Mirai with the Scorpion Deathlock that put away and forced her to tap. So you could say it was a dumb move out of her, but understandably, she tried to prove herself to everyone that she can actually succeed. Next up, we have Oedo Tai consisting of Ruka, Momo Watanabe, Natsuko Tora versus Mai Sakurai, Suzuki, and Julia. Now, I'm going to say this might be the match that kind of started it all because if you guys remember, I did mention in the much recent when I did the review with the Supreme Fight, Natsuko Tora won her match with I think was with Momo. I think she did state it as she wants the New Japan Strong Women's title. So I asked myself, could this be what triggered her to win to proceed that belt? That kind of brought into question just me watching this match. I could say it did, but however, she has to go against a woman that many fans would say she's the best in the world, that she brings a lot of good bring out the best matches. But unfortunately, Ruka tried to be that girl to try to take her out, but Juliet applied the backdrop driver. I would have assumed she would have done the glorious driver or the no lights bomb, but nope, it was the backdrop driver to put away Ruaka, and it was over right from there. Our next match, of course, this led to the Wonder of Stardom Championship match took place. Sarui Onoi and Yuna Mizumori taking on the other members of Oedo Tai, Rina and Starlight Kid. Um, I would have assumed in some capacity that maybe Rina would have taken the fall for her team, or Yuna, of course, as always with Cosmic Angels. But however, it ended with, of course, Mina and the Rina and Yuma Mizumori going on. But however, Rina, who's proven otherwise that her wrestling craft has evolved since then. She defeated her when she applied the Hydra Angra, whatever it's called, and it picked up the win. However, of course, this match also led with a really interesting promotion where, of course, Starlight Kid, who claimed that she was going to defeat her and regain the belt and then destroy it. Well, we all know what happened in the end of that match. It never happened, so Noi picked up her first win, and that's how it went. Now, our main event that also coincides to the main event of what's it? Oh, yeah, of Supreme Fight. We have Queen's Quest, Miyu Amasaki, Azumi, Sayaka Mitani, and Utami Ayashida taking on Empress Nexus Venus, consisting of Hanako, Waka Tsukiyama, Mina Shirakawa, and Maika. Now, of course, as you all know, Maika and Kamitani will be facing, but we all know that what happened. But the match was pretty good. However, those who don't know or do know, Kyoto is also the home of two particular wrestlers involved in the main event. Miyu Amasaki and HANAKO. That's right. They're from the city of Kyoto, and they're from that area. So basically, I had a feeling that one of those two were going to end up winning this match in order to say that, yes, I picked up a win in my hometown, and had it be Miyu Amasaki when she applied the Tenzai on Tawaka. So, uh, of course, Miyu Amasaki says, I'm home. I won my match in my hometown, that sort of thing. So, and of course, Hanako, she acknowledges Hanako is also from Kyoto as well. So I think that's pretty much it right now with Stardom. I think it's time to move on with our last review, NXT. Okay, NXT. As I said before, we just entered the fallout after Vengeance Day. But the one question in people's minds, as I said it before, again, why Mello? Now, while he was in the ring, you can hear the fans saying, F you, Mello. And then he walked out. So I guess he wasn't having it, knowing that the fans were not going to listen to him or whatever was the case. But nonetheless, we wanted answers. Now, we do see, of course, our winners of the Dusty Cup, Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin. Now, I wouldn't be surprised that they would probably challenge for the NXT Tag Team title sooner than we think. But, however, they're more curious about the match that was taking place. Nathan Frazier and Axiom, two guys who they faced in the tournament, but they will be facing against a team that they feel they should have been at the top of the mountain sooner than we thought, which is Malik Blade and Idris Inofe. Nonetheless, the match was pretty good. I think it was more like, okay, now that the Dusty Cup, that means we start over. Who right now will try to go up and reach the mountain for a shot of the NXT Tag Team titles, even though we know that Corbin and Breaker are the ones who are going to challenge them. But that was pretty much it. But, however, the great teamwork between both Frazier and Axiom never ceased to amaze me. They applied the Phoenix Splash, then the Golden Ratio onto Edris Enofe to pick up the win. And then, of course, once Frazier and Axiom were celebrating, they were sneak attacked by Breaker and Corbin to throw out the trash. And then, of course, we did see the family, Stacks and Tony D, along with Andrea Rizzo. And of course, they're demanding they put the tag team titles on the line next week. And now it's official that it will be next week, where the winners of the Dusty Cup will be challenging the tag champions. So yeah. Now, Dragunov made his arrival to the NXT venue, and then he said that he wants answers for what just transpired at Vengeance Day. But first things first, when he was around, he did respect Trick Williams for what he is, even though he says that if he would have been the one to dethrone him, he would have been a great champion. But later, that's when he turned his focus now on the one person that betrayed Trick, Carmello Hayes. So basically, he wanted answers. Why would he betray his friend this way? Now, before he tries to get more of the answer, all of a sudden, Dijak, the so-called man of justice, shows up. Now, Dijak, there is no secret that he has proceed against guys like Dragunov, because Dragunov has always said that he can endure the pain, but Dijak always claimed that he couldn't, and not to mention he has targeted for the NXT title many times over, but failed to do so. So, of course, Dijak took a sucker punch, and then there was an official match. I believe that was the main event that we had. Yes, it was the main event. So we'll get to that in a bit. Now, Thea Hill and Jay-Z Jane, as you know, Thea Hill has a bit of a crush against Riley Osborne. So there was that. And then Lexis King, as you know, who has a thing for Thea Hill, was trying to persuade her, saying that Riley Osborne is not the guy for her. But of course, Lexis King will probably say that he was right and he was wrong. But of course, Riley Osborne did put up a good fight, but he dropped the ball when he turned around to see if Thea Hill was in the stands, but she wasn't, and that cost him dearly with the coronation. that Lexus applied and picked up the win. But however, he did bump into Thea Hill, asking her that she had some business to do with, of course, the calendars and all that. So Riley understood that part. But he did ask if their date is still on, and of course, it's still on. I wouldn't be surprised if Lexus King tried to crash it. That's the thing. Now, of course, we did see a very disappointed Von Wagner that he did not win the Heritage Cup, but Mr. Stone, being a good friend that he has said, look, Noam Dar has more experience than him. It was only your first time, so you'll get back at it. But he did stated but of course, Von Wagner told him that he had the best training partners, and he just revealed to him that his sons, they called themselves the Bash Brothers. I thought that was kind of nice that his sons are involved now. But however, much like any father, he listens to his sons, and they want something that they want to see. They want to see their dad team up with Von Wagner for hopefully one day become tag champions. And of course, Von Wagner would do anything for those kids. He would love to make that dream come true. I'm sure, like any father for Mr. Stone, he would do the same thing, realizing maybe we should give them that dream. So I can't wait to see how this friendship between both Mr. Stone and Von Wagner as tag team will take place. Now, as you know, Kiara James and Izzy Dane, they will try to stop at nothing to destroy the future wrestlers of NXT. And of course, we know last time during Vengeance Day they targeted Kehlani Jordan, but later they had, of course, decided to disrespect Brianna Reese, who did nothing wrong, just enjoy herself. But they can't stand it. They feel like people like them don't belong here. But I wouldn't be surprised if they get their asses beat by the rookies. But there is going to be a match between Kiara James and Brianna Reese. Now, the moment we've been expecting, Carmello Hayes. The answers we've been wanting. Why did Carmello Hayes did what he did last Sunday or Saturday? Well, there was a reason why. He felt, in his honest opinion, that Trick Williams crossed the line. He felt that Trick Williams should have proceeded for the North American title. That he should have known his place. But there was one answer that many people have asked. If you guys remember, Trick Williams was attacked when we were supposed to have that fatal four-way match. The most likely suspect was Carmello Hayes. However, whoever made that insinuation that it was Carmello Hayes, well, you were right. He confessed that it was him and that he would do it again. And he said that now that Carmello Hayes is out of the way, that he's not coming back. He even played everyone when Trick Williams' music was played out. So we'll see what happens from here on out. Now, our next match, we have Roxanne Perez versus Lola Vice. Now, this match came about right after Vengeance Days. If you guys remember, Roxanne Perez had a one-on-one match with Lyra Valkyria for the NXT Women's title. However, Lola Vice took the advantage when both women's bodies were worn out throughout the match and cashed in her contract. So that was pretty much what was going on. So Roxanne Perez felt that Lola Vice had no business whatsoever being involved in this match. But, however, Tatum Paxton did try to stop her one way or the other. But once again, she decided to have a little bit of fun and decided to get into Lola Vice's head. And she did when she grabbed the contract, and pretty much it did not, made her lose focus until, of course, Roxanne tried the pop rocks, and it was over right from there. Oh, excuse me. Now, our next interview, we have Lash Legends and Jakara Jax. And as you know, they have their focus made for Ren Sinclair and Fallon Henley, so there's that. And of course, Noam Dar and Ora Menza are making fun of the fact that, of course, Von Wagner and Mr. Stone are going to be, of course, teaming up. They think that this thing is not going to work. But however, this is one I kind of was expecting in some way. No catch quarter, no was it? Or no quarter catch crew showed up demanding a match for the Heritage Cup. And of course, Noam Dar will not like that, but if I was metaphor, I steer clear from them. Sooner or later, Noam Dar will have to deal with them. And I think they're going to play a fantastic game with them. Now, if you guys know this, no quarter catch crew have a tendency to decide who's going to be facing who in a tag team setting. So basically, that's how it rolls. I wouldn't be surprised if they played out that way. And I think that's going to draw Noam Dar like you're going to be unprepared. But however, if I was Ora Mensa, I would skedaddle. But we'll see when that day happens. Now, Brooks Jensen went to to talk to Josh Briggs about how things have been going for him. However, Briggs did not want to hear him crying, so he gave him a bit of tough love. So I have to say, he had that coming. So yeah. Anyway, as you know, our current manager for NXT, Ava Reigns, has been dealing with a lot. Now, she was approached by Jada Parker, demanding that she wants to have a match against Andrea Rizzo after how things did not go pan out for her at Vengeance Day. However, Ava Reigns said that she will give her the match as long as OTM are out. She did state that of course, the family will be out of the ringside due to the fact that they will be defending their tag titles. So basically, Jada Parker has agreed that she will go at this alone. However, she was later dropped by Rich Holland, who's demanding that he wants to have a match against Gallus, a 3-on-1. Now, Ava Reigns will do anything to protect him because she knows he has no one by his side. So she came up with a suggestion, a gauntlet match. More like, okay, you beat one person, you move on to the next. So Rich Holland said that was it. But, however, Ava Reigns told him if he loses, he has to let this go. That's all she is demanding. So, of course, Rich Holland agreed to it. Now, our main event, Ilya Dragunov versus Dijak. Now, these two are no familiar strangers to each other. If you guys remember, of course, Ilya Dragunov, before becoming NXT champion, he had a deal with Dijak, who Dijak thinks that, oh, you cannot endure in pain. So they've been beating the crap out of each other. Of course, Dragunov was going to do the same thing to Dijak, or back and forth. But however, I had a feeling that sooner or later this was not over because Joe Gacy showed up from under the ring. Dijak was like, what the fudge? And then, boom, used like a pole with a boxing glove to knock him out. And that gave, of course, enough time for Dragunov to apply the H-bomb. 1, 2, 3, it was over. So we saw that. However, while Dragunov was celebrating, guess who showed up? Carmello Hayes. Now that he sees Trick Williams is out of the picture, he wants to be the one to dethrone Dragunov. So yeah, so we're going with that story. But there was an exclusive video that was posted on their X account where you see Joe Gacy coming out, all happy that he knocked out Dijak. He was attacked by Mello. I wouldn't be surprised if Gacy gets involved with Mello. That happens before. Don't ever try to get in the way of Gacy, so that's something we could expect. So I think that's pretty much it right now with NXT. I believe it's time for some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. Now, let's begin with some stuff going on with the promotion themselves. Now, the first two we're going to be doing, these are updates from MLW, Major League Wrestling. Now, I'm having a hard time trying to see what I can do, but however, two announcements have been made from them for two different events. The first one will take place on the 29th of February with Intimidation Games. They announced that Bobby Fish will be making his return. So I'm sure everybody's excited. If you guys are big fans of Bobby Fish, go see him. Now, the next one, this one, I think many of you who know this, who I follow this person, I do videos of her all the time. They announced, MLW announced for their War Chambers event that'll take place on the 24th of March. We're going to see the debut of Unagi Sayaka. That's right, Unagi Sayaka will be in MLW next month. I'm so excited. Hopefully, I find a way to go see it because I definitely want to see this. I'm so excited for that. Now, moving on. House of Glory has announced for the Reckoning show that takes place on the 2nd of March. We're going to see the return of the Rascals will be making their way. So, no announcement has been made yet about who will they be facing. So, I'm sure we will see them in a tag team match or either a tag team titles. I don't know, depending on how the promotion is going to be. As you know, we have the collaboration between West Coast Pro and the United Wrestling Network for their show Delirious. This will take place on the 12th of March. We have Sonico, Lazarus, and Gia Jewel taking on Los Suavecitos. Yes, so this is going to be, I have to say, Los Suavecitos will bring out a brutality against those because they want to prove that the LA wrestling scene is way better than other places. So we'll see about that. Now, as you know, recently on a previous news update, I announced that Set Up Thailand Pro Wrestling, a promotion based out of Thailand, has announced that two New Japan talents will be making their way there. It's El Fantasmo and Zack Sabre Jr. But however, I also failed to mention the name of the show they're going to be hailing in Thailand, and this one is called Bangkok Style, Strong Style. That's right, Bangkok Strong Style. So this will take place on the 24th of March. However, they just announced a match taking place for that particular day. We're gonna have Shivam will be facing against, of course, the Technical Wizard, Zack Sabre Jr. So this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Now, as you know, we're almost close. As you know, we're getting closer to the upcoming WrestleMania week. As you know, many promotions will be doing shows around the area. Amongst them is GCW for the Collective. They announced for the GCW/JCW versus the World that will take place on the 4th of April. Four wrestlers from all over the world has been announced they'll be participating. We have Aglin Blanc, who I seen him, who's a wrestler, a mass wrestler based out of France, will be there. Maho from DDT Pro Wrestling. A guy named Ambos, I don't know who the hell he is. I never heard of him. And a guy named Yusaku Itu. I don't know if I've ever seen him, but yes, they will be involved in that show. Now, this is not a promotion, but I decided to put it anyway. I wasn't too sure if this will happen. As you know, May 23rd, 2020 is the year where the world was saddened with the passing of Hana Kimura. However, it's now been announced that there will be a fourth annual memorial show in her name. Hana Kimura Memorial Show is back. They have their latest theme called Terima Kasih. I don't know if this is a Indonesian reference because we know that Hana Kimura is half Indonesian from her family. But yes, but this will take place exactly on the same day of her passing, May 23rd, 2024, and it will be hailing in Corkin Hall. Now, no new announcements who will participate. I'm sure as we go along, those names will be. I'm sure we'll be seeing certain wrestlers making their return. We have seen wrestlers like Natsupoi, Sarunoi be involved, Suri, Konami, and so on, so on. I would love to see all of that, but we'll see. I think that's pretty much with all of our promotions. Let's move on with certain developments. Now, for those who remember, during since the change of regimes with WWE, with Vince McMahon stepping down as the creative part of the head of the creative team, we did see Triple H was going to take over. However, there was discussions about bringing back wrestlers who were involved in that, the ones who were let go and went to other promotions. Now, amongst those people was in fact Swerve Strickland. So yeah, so Swerve Strickland was one of those wrestlers that they want to get back. However, Swerve mentioned in a podcast, the Smooth Vega podcast, about that, and this is what he said: It's tough in that organization. WWE is really tough creatively when you don't have your hands on your creative, and it's left in the powers to be to maneuver you how they see fit, and that's not easy for anybody. For me, it I was in a place where I knew I needed to be. I needed to be in AEW, and when I got the phone call to go back, I didn't answer it. I didn't even answer it. It was nope. So basically, he didn't need to call him back or anything. He just wasn't feeling like WWE was the right place for him. So that's pretty much where he's been going from there on on. So yeah, it would make sense. Now, those of you, if you guys have friends or you know people who are wrestlers, Marvelous has announced there will be a tryout session taking place on March 20th. Now, this tryout will is the indication for how do I say to select two people who will do a tour and train in Japan with Marvelous. So yes. So if you know any people that will love to go on tour and train in Japan with Marvelous, let them know. This will take place at the West Coast Pro Academy or somewhere. But yes, they said that they're so you guys can email them. I think it's West Coast Pro Wrestling at gmail.com. So if you know friends who are wrestlers, let them know. I did actually talk to one person about that, and he said he's thinking it over. So, but yeah. Anyway, um, also they said if you make your way to the tryout, they said um, that everything will be taken care of. You know, room and board will be taken care of by West Coast Pro. So basically, everything will be taken care of on your trip for the tryout. So the tryout will be on 20th of March. So give them a holler. So email Coast Pro's email, and we'll go on. Now, as you know, we're in the season where, of course, promotions will try to gather certain talent that they want. What appears that one particular talent that WWE were keen interest in having, and they already made plans to have her have an NXT deal, well, that's a real bust for them. And that person is none other than Kamille. Now, as you know, with Kamille being a free agent from NWA, WWE had a keen interest in her. However, recently we were aware that she was in backstage at AEW. There was a lot of questions surrounding what was going on. However, it's now been said that she was having deep discussions with AEW. Basically, she wants to go to AEW not because she wants to, it's because A, she can work there as well, and B, she can work outside of AEW. She has how to say an interest in acting role and other personal goals that she wants to do that she won't be able to do with WWE. So basically, her bound to WWE is no longer in question. So basically, that's pretty much it. Now, Pro Wrestling Noah has announced for the return of their upcoming Tag League tournament, Victory Challenge Tag League. This is for a chance, the challenge for the GHC heavyweight tag team titles, and this will start on February 24th. So we're not far off from that. Now, as you know, last week is where we all questioned about. Okay, Cody decided that he's gonna go for the title that currently is being held by Seth Rollins, the WWE World Heavyweight title. However, I think someone mentioned this. Let me pull this up. No, I saw it. I saved it up. Okay. Sources within WWE. This is from Fightful Select. Sources within W say that Cody is a company man, and he has long respected WWE's decision making, but claimed that Cody voiced that he thought the audience wouldn't react well to the change of creative direction for Mania before last Friday. So Cody knew from day one when this decision was made that Rock will be challenging Roman Reigns and he will be pursuing for the WWE World Heavyweight title, no one was gonna like it. So yes, so it was expected. Cody knows how people would react because he's been there himself before when he was running things with the AEW. So don't ever try to doubt that Cody didn't know this was going to happen. He knew. And I'm sure many of your fans probably appreciate that he knew how you guys felt. Now, as you know, with things situating with Stardom, with certain things that have been taking on, um, Cyberfight president Shinjiro Takagi, as you know, who runs DDT Pro Wrestling, Tokyo Show Pro Wrestling, he had this thing to say to Tokyo Sports about um, the exit of Rossy Ogawa and for him to of course, start a new promotion. He did stated that this is a good thing, believing that this will make Yoshi market grow bigger. You know, he makes a good, valid point because it would bring in more Yoshi, more things into the market with the Yoshi wrestling, and I think he's right about that. But however, the dramatic DDT had this to say about something else, something that I don't know if if you call it a coincidence or it's just fate. To make on the situation, I noticed the timelines of Gambari Pro leaving Cyberfight, Rossi post Stardom plans run parallel to each other. March seems to be a final destination from both. I think this that that's just a big coincidence. Or so sorry if I was getting in your hopes up. Now this dramatic DDT, which is a news outlet that keeps updates with promotions like DDT Pro Wrestling, Tokyo Show Pro Wrestling, Gambari Pro. He's saying, what a strange coincidence that Gambari Pro made the announcement to leave, and then of course Rossy Ogawa has plans to leave. I mean, it seems like it's just a coincidence, but we don't know for sure if there was some sort of dealing behind it. But I wouldn't be surprised if that was it. But if it's not, then I'm sorry to keep your hopes up, as he says. But we'll see what happens. I'm sure we're still going to get more on the Rossy Ogawa situation. But as I said before, we haven't heard anything from certain talent if they're staying or they're going. But we'll get to that at some point. I think that's pretty much it right now with everything else. I think it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have AEW Dynamite. We're going to see what's going to take place. I hope we have a lot of fun reviewing that match, but I haven't decided yet if what I'm going to do. I'm considering doing GCW shows that I haven't seen just yet, and there's plenty other stuff as well. So we'll see what happens from here on out. So as of right now, this is the plan with AEW, and hopefully we can do more. Stay tuned for my next upcoming podcast. If you guys don't have me on Spotify, go find me on DWZ Podcast with J Rod, and we'll see from there. So as of right now, I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.